Hello and welcome to Handoff. In this video, we'll explain 7 things you need to know to get up and running. We'll start off by helping you find your way around the designer. Then, we'll show you how to create your first component and how to insert some elements. We'll also show you how to style elements and how to arrange them in a layout. We'll teach you how to create components from your designs and how to reuse them in your project. We'll adapt designs for different device sizes. And finally, we'll show you how to export your designs. This is the designer. It consists of 3 main parts. On the left, there is the navigator for navigating through our project. On the right, there is the inspector for editing our elements. And finally, the major area in the center is our canvas. And this is where we visually edit our design. Back to the navigator. The navigator gives us access to the screens and components in our project. Clicking one of them reveals the elements list, a tree of all the elements inside. Here, we can navigate through the design, rename elements and position elements by dragging and dropping them. The navigator also contains the Assets tab. From here, we can upload and manage images we use in our project. Moving over to the right side of the screen, there is the inspector. This is where we find all sorts of controls to edit the styles of our elements. Next, there is the Settings tab, which gives us granular control over how elements should render. For example, to change the markup tag and to set attributes for improved SEO and accessibility. Finally, there is the Code tab for viewing and copy-pasting the live rendered code of our design. Let's take a look at the canvas. We use it to edit our design and manipulate the underlying code. We can select elements, we can move them around, we can edit the content, and we can drag the handlers to change their size and spacing. When we're working with the canvas, the toolbar up top gives us quick access to the most common tools. For example, to insert elements. Bring up the Insert menu from the toolbar or press the I key. There's 3 ways to add an element from the menu. You can type to find your desired element and hit Enter to add it. Or you can drag and drop it straight from the list into your design or the navigator. Last but not least, you can draw an element in place. When doing this, Handoff automatically tries to detect the correct spacing and alignment properties. And that's how you add elements. Let's see how we can style them. There's a lot of controls in the Styling tab, but don't let that scare you away. When we take a closer look, we can see that they're actually pretty straightforward. On top, you can define sizing, either as absolute values, relative, or even relative to the viewport. When you set a style, the label in front of it turns blue, and clicking the label allows you to reset it. Underneath sizing, there's spacing. You can define spacing on the outside, this pushes elements away, or on the inside. This gives the elements inside some room to breathe. There is also typography for setting a font and its size, line height, and advanced controls like character spacing or text direction. And then there's fills for setting layers of background colors, images or gradients, borders, shadows, and effects to make your designs even more interesting. By setting 3D transforms, smooth transitions or filters for a nice blurry background. Elements in Handoff are quite similar to what they call layers in traditional design tools, with one notable difference. In Handoff, and everywhere else on the web, the order and hierarchy of elements dictate where and how they will be shown in the design. This way of working may take a little bit of time to get used to, but it also makes you more productive as you build out your design, because you no longer need to constantly resize and nudge elements to make them fit into your layout. Instead, Handoff gives us precise control over how our elements should be displayed. For example, we can define how elements should align, or how they should be arranged. More advanced settings can be found here, under More Layout Settings. Would you like to see your elements stick to the top of your viewport, or grow to take up remaining space, or to wrap your elements inside your box? You can control all of this under More Layout Settings. That's Layout. To make parts of your design reusable, you can convert them to a component. They'll appear in the components list, allowing you to reuse them anywhere in your project. And good to know is that future versions of Handoff Alpha and Beta will even allow you to set properties and slots. Responsiveness. Handoff allows you to adapt your design to different screen sizes by clicking the drop-down and selecting another breakpoint. Within a breakpoint, you can check what your design looks like for commonly used devices. Designing in Handoff works from the bottom up, meaning that you design from the smallest breakpoint first, and gradually work your way up to a large desktop screen. And so, when you work in one of the breakpoints, styles are inherited from the previous breakpoint. The yellow color of a label will tell you when a style is inherited. When you finish your work, you can hand off your designs by exporting to a UI library from the very right of the toolbar. This downloads a zip file containing all of your components, neatly organized in folders, ready to import into your website or web application project. The library also includes a README, making it easy for everyone on your team to stay up to date with new components and changes in their API. These were all the 7 things to note before getting started with Handoff. Now go ahead and build something. If you need help, feel free to reach out.